Zoom. Yeah, we've got 15 on Zoom so far.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea to do this like this.
Okay, so we're recording on Zoom. So I think we've got enough people gathered. We can probably go ahead and start, and there might be some stragglers that join a few minutes late, but that's okay. So welcome, everyone. My name is Laura. I'm the director here at the library. So I see all of you here today. So this program featuring Christopher Keene is in partnership with Moosehead Trails. So I will let them do their part of the introduction.
Good evening. I guess I'm on a camera, right? Because I don't see anything anywhere. Okay, this is all new to me.
They can see us, but we can't see them.
Oh, that's an interesting technology. My name's Ron Dobra. I live here in town. I'm representing Moosehead Trails. Someone called me an officer. I am most assuredly not an officer. I just happen to be the one that's available to come over here. We have a small group of people that meet regularly, and that small group of people is what we call our leadership people. Nothing's elected, nothing's formal, or anything like that. Moosehead Trails is in existence for about 5 or 6 years now. The purpose of it has been to maintain the hiking and biking trails in the immediate vicinity of Greenville, although we've gone out a little further than immediate vicinity at times. And these trails are basically on BPL land, Bureau of Parks and Lands trails, but also some other trails that are of interest to people. And the reason we do this is that there is no dedicated trail crew that maintains these trails. I think we've probably been out to about a dozen or dozen and a half trips, different peaks in the, he's talking back to me, in the 5 years that we've been in existence. And I'm supposed to be reminded to have people sign up for email. I think you can do that online, but I'm not sure how. On the chat box, okay, if you're interested in learning more about our maintaining trips, which, as I say, happen about once a month in the summertime, you're welcome to let us know how to get in contact with you, and we'll let you know what's going out when. No experience needed, and they vary in difficulty from fairly strenuous, like up to the top of Big Spencer and back down again, to fairly easy off the North Road in the Little Moose unit. So all kinds of levels, all kinds of trip tastes. So that's that. Now I get to introduce Chris. I've known Chris for about 20 years. After
This meeting, let me lower it.
I think we need to mute whoever's kind of broadcasting to the audience here. Make sure that you're muted if you're coming in online. Anyway, I first met Chris, I think, when he was working in Northwood Outfitters, which was where I was hanging out as I was teaching school here, and got to know him a little better. I was a maintainer on the AT at the time, so was Chris. Chris had the north end of the Chairback Barren Range. I had the south end of the Chairback Barren Range. And then I got promoted, I guess, into being a district manager of the whole Whitecap district, which included Chris's trail. So Chris and I went out on some trips at times and got to know him fairly well. And I know that he has been the author of at least 2, if not 3, local hiking books, one of them which is in the 5th or 6th edition, as well as a couple of works of fiction, which I have read. And other than that, I'm going to shut up, and let's all welcome Chris Keene.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Keene, and welcome. And let's launch right into it. What do we say? I don't want to bore people. I've been trying my best to trim this down time-wise, so I apologize if you fall asleep at your monitor or in your chair, but it beats being up in the cold snow at the moment. So this is I Must Go, Less Traveled Trails of the Northwoods. And this is one of the least traveled trails that that is Third Musquash Pond. And that's on what's called the Great Circle Trail. Very new section of trail. And when I went through there, there was a whole lot of blowdowns all along through here. Hopefully that's something they've cleared up in the meantime. But beautiful spot, and probably get to discuss that later. A little bit about me. I've been here my whole life in Maine, primarily in Greenville, Maine, with the exceptions of when I went backpacking out of state. I did do the long trail, the entirety of the long trail in Vermont in 2008. And I've hiked the same 200-mile section of the Southern Appalachian Trails from the start of the AT halfway through the Smokies. Also, I have almost said the word blessed. It was almost a custody battle at times, working with landowners to create new trails. And eventually I had to back away from that. And within a short period of time, some of these trails started popping up. The Eagle Rocks and the number 4 to Baker Mountain Trail started popping up. That was wonderful. Another one I tried to work on, I just want to throw this out there, is the trail. This most recently, I was in contact with a landowner or representative that owned the dam at Big Wilson. And everybody knows, most people, locals certainly know about the major waterfall that's just downstream. Not Little Wilson Falls, Big Wilson Falls. There's a 20-foot, almost a 30-foot drop on Big Wilson Stream. And I thought, instead of walking on this pipe that's sometimes ice covered, you need rappelling equipment to get around some stuff at times. Wouldn't it be better if they just carved one on what would that be, the west side of the stream? And from there you can get to the overlook. You don't have to worry about falling off 20 feet onto other rocks. And I emailed this guy probably every other week, and he was always too busy. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it was a nice little thing to have dabbled in. We'll see if anything ever comes of that. So let's start talking about wintertime. I kind of have 4 seasons, I guess, or 4 chapters. This is wintertime. Me being a football fan, I'll say right off the bat, there's a term called situational awareness. That means a lot, certainly this time of year. I recently did a hike to Borstone Mountain. I didn't get out of my house until about 1:45. And I realized it was a beautiful day, much to my surprise. So I get in the car and I'm at the trailhead at 2 o'clock in January. No way am I going to try to reach the summit under those conditions, even though it was like almost a 30-degree day. So I just was fine, just getting to the ponds, taking some pictures of the lodges with the big cliff face behind them. That's all I need to do. I didn't need to overdo it. I know myself, I'm strong enough. I had a flashlight with a headlamp with me. I could have certainly gone to the top, but there's such a thing as pushing my luck. And that January's a bad time to push your luck. This particular hike where the snowshoes are, that's the Route 15 trailhead. This trip I did in March, probably 15 years ago, went all the way to Little Wilson Falls. So if you ever want to get to Little Wilson Falls and not see anybody along the way, regardless of the season, that's the trip you take. It's going to be very long. Not for everybody.
How long is it, Chris?
It is be about 7 miles to get to the falls from Route 15.
From Route 15.
And you'll probably see the only people you'll see in that stretch until you reach the falls would probably be through hikers, maybe.
How did you get across the stream?
It was frozen over.
I
I may have actually cut across the pond.
No, at Lehman, Brooklyn too?
Went right down, right up. It was just all snow and ice, and it was easy to get over. And sometimes that's been like my first springtime hike. Not all the way to the falls, maybe, but maybe at least to North Pond and then turn around. There's some really interesting land out through there. So needless to say, yeah, 7 miles just to the falls. I still had another 2 miles of walking to do to get out to a road where I could get picked up. Other wintertime hikes, Indian Mountain That's the one on the left. Was blessed to work at AMC's Little Lifer Lodge for the better part of a year. And I was almost always, as far as snowshoeing goes, I was almost always breaking trail, certainly on Indian Mountain. It's more of a cross-country ski mecca this time of year. Maybe in the summertime, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people hiking. Not all of them go up Indian Mountain. It's pretty lonely up there. And then on the other side, you've got, this is Little Moose Mountain, obviously. And I know that a lot of people tramp up on that, but I rarely run into them. For the amount of times that I've been up there, and that's probably the mountain I've hiked the most, the trail I've hiked the most, I hardly see people on there, relatively speaking, you know, relative to the number of times I've been up there. And also, coming up the mountain a couple times in the winter, I've gone up and over the mountain, down to the ponds, hit the road or the snowmobile trail and walk out to Route 15. You get out to those ponds, you're really going to be lonely over there. That's pretty quiet. If you like peace and quiet, that's the place for you. Now, like I say, Borestone, everybody knows about Borestone, but the one that I'm going to key in on is the one that everybody tends to miss. It's called the Peregrine Ridge Trail, and the sign is not that big or prominent at the access road. It's a blink and you'll miss it side trail, and the reason you'd be blinking is the visitor center's right there, the pond's right there, and the view of the summit's right there. Everybody just gets googly and just makes a beeline and completely disregards this pretty neat trail on the left. If you're not a big fan of crowds, Peregrine Trail is for you. If you're not a big fan of going over those rocks on the summit of Borestone, and not everybody is, the Peregrine Ridge Trail, I mean, it's gentle. It's going uphill, but it's gentle, and you're looking right down at both the ponds. Just a beautiful spot. I gotta make a nod to the Gorman Loop Trail. I did that just a couple of years ago, and it was fantastic. You're going up Third Mountain for quite a ways. In fact, I went up so far, I basically intersected the AT until I realized, oh, those red blazes, that wasn't a town line marker, that was signifying the trail. So we had to walk back down to it, my dog and I, but stunning out there. This was obviously early winter when I did that. I don't know how much it's traveled, although there are probably more people are going up Third Mountain, I would suppose. I hope they're not going to Gulf Hagus. You really want to get away from people. Gulf Hagus, there's ways to do it. Being out there in the middle of the winter, I would not recommend it, not at all. The other one on the left, that's Williams Mountain. You can see the fire tower on the top of it. As much as people really don't have a soft spot in their heart for the new Eagle Rock Trail, nobody complains about the trail on Williams. They really did it justice. It's very gentle until you start going. When it goes uphill, it means business. But they really did a good job on that trail. Made several new overlooks. And so did the people that were cutting the forest. Those guys kind of helped too, because it didn't look like that once upon a time. So let's talk about summertime a little bit. So the next few unknown hikes, trails, such and so forth, I found this book. Sometimes these things just fall in my lap. I don't always go looking out, seeking out new trails and stuff. Sometimes they just come upon me. I don't even know where. There's a trail on Rum Mountain. There's an established hiking trail on Rum Mountain. It's in the book, in my 6th edition. I had bushwhacked up Rum Mountain probably 3 or 4 times. I had no clue there was a trail there. I never found a trail. I don't know how old the trail is, but it absolutely exists. And trust me, you go uphill fast. But having said that, so I don't always go looking for these things, but one day I happened to go into Barry's store over in West Forks. And there's this little kind of homemade pamphlet. And there was a list of all these hikes that were in there. Mosquito Mountain, was one of them. And of all the ones that I pulled out of that book so far, that's still my favorite. I've gone up Mosquito Mountain every time of the year. I actually stealth camped down the summit once. I don't think that flag was there when I first found the trail, so somebody since put that there, and it fell down. The dogs just disregards the American flag. But beautiful views all through up there. There's just so many overlooks. And it's one of those mountains when it starts going uphill, it means business. But absolutely a fantastic hike. My favorite one I pulled out of there. That's Coldstream Falls right there. And it still manages to be a very under the radar hike. A lot of people have it in their hiking books now, not so much. I don't even know if the AMC ever had it in there. Chloe Chun in the 50 Hikes in Maine series, it wasn't in that. And to this day, 20 years after I discovered it, 25 years after I first hiked it, there's still not a sign at the start of the trail saying, hey, there's a trail over here. But there's definitely a trail, and it's one of the most gentle. You know, if you don't like the crowds at Moxie, and there are people there year round, this is the one for you. This is a good pick.
Where's this one?
Coldstream Falls. So if you can think of where the Capitol Road intersects Route 201, you actually go back, you get onto the Capitol Road at that point, and you have to follow directions. I can't remember them on my head, but you do go over a bridge over Coldstream Fall, or stream, just Coldstream. And from there, you'll go uphill a little bit, and there is turnoff. I was there probably 2017. Yeah, there still wasn't any signage there at all. But a fantastic hike, very easy and gentle going. This is not like you're going downhill to Moxie Falls or uphill to Little Wilson Falls. This is as gentle as it comes, as gentle as you could expect. And the third awesome hike I pulled out of the book is this guy. If you've driven up Route 201 going towards Bingham, you've seen this. If you've gone across Route 16, you've seen this. This is Moxie Mountain, not Moxie Bald. That's Moxie Mountain. It is as cool as that looks. There's stuff even cooler further up the trail on that thing. Not to mention, you can also notice Moxie Mountain by the long slide on its backside. If you're on Big Moose or even Mosquito and you're looking south, you can see that long slide. I always see those things. I always want to hike them. I've hiked the one on Baker. That was steep. That tested me. And you'll probably be happy to know that while it is a fairly strenuous hike, one, no crowds ever. Two, the trail does not literally go up this cliff face. I actually sort of free climbed down a little bit just to get that picture. Sometimes I get a little tired. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I'll look up at an Appalachian Trail book and it's the exact same photo from Eight-Ball Bridge of Katahdin every single time. I probably got 6, 7 books, different authors, magazines or what have you, and they always have the same picture. Maybe at different times of the year, but nobody ever takes a picture from Chimney Pond or Nice Hedge. I mean, those aren't the classic shots. It's always the one from Eight-Ball Bridge, which is still stunning, visible. So I always try to get pictures, especially when I'm doing them for a book, of just getting something that isn't always common, isn't always seen. And this is such an off the radar hike anyway. So beautiful spot. And it has 2 trailheads. It has a Heel Pond trailhead, and I guess they call the other one the Deer Bog Route 201 trailhead. Now this guy right here, I don't know if he's with us anymore, but there's a fellow called Steve Spencer. I don't know why we had hooked up, but out of the blue, he's like, have you ever hiked that new trail yet over by Enchanted Pond? And I'm like, well, what's that? Oh yeah, it goes over to an overlook and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I'll check it out someday. 17 years later, I finally got out there to go hike it. And so long story short, that's Coburn Mountain right there. The entirety of that landmass is Coburn Mountain. And as nasty and as uninviting as that cliff face looks, it was exactly the same one right under my feet when I took that picture. And there is a trail that comes up to that from the lake. I would suggest you take a canoe now. I don't know the condition of that trail. The regular trail that starts at Bulldog Camps was awesome. The only thing to note is you will have to ford a stream almost immediately. There's no bridge. But after that, it kind of hugs the shoreline for a bit. You get some just stunning views of that cliff face and the one on the right, which is called Bulldog Peak. It's actually on Shutdown Mountain. I loved every inch of it. My only complaint is how come they make a loop around the whole pond. It's not that big. It's deep, but it's not that big of a pond. Probably about half the size of the Hamilton Lake, but still stellar hike. So if you ever wondered what was lurking behind Coburn Mountain, there you go. So here we go. We were talking about this earlier. This is, we'll just for now call it the Wobbly Mountain Trail. There is a trailhead now out at what's called the Penobscot Pond Road. If you're familiar with that region, just downhill from there is Mushquash campsites, and the Joe Mary Road is on the other side of the bridge. So where those lean-tos are, that's about 7 miles out from that road. So just to get to the pond down there in the valley, that's about probably pushing 4 miles. Then you go up and over Wobbly Mountain, and you get some great views just like this. You can see towards the Spencers, Farrar Mountain, Joe Mary Mountain's extremely prominent out there. But yeah, look at your night's stay. I don't know how much people that's getting. More and more people are talking about this trail, and they should be. It's just a beautiful spot. And as I was saying earlier, someone asked, is this part of the Great Circle Trail? And it is. Great Circle Trail is a backpacking loop, incorporates small smidgens of the Appalachian Trail. I would recommend people do it as a 3-night, 4-day trip. And on my second day, I had done 14 miles, and I'm walking alongside Wobbly Pond, and I look up and I see something. I think it's a kiosk of some kind. I'm like, well, they probably have a boat landing here. I can see someone fishing out in the pond on the far end. I'll go a little bit further and I see this chimney. I'm like, wow. So needless to say, I planted myself right there for the rest of the night. I done 14 miles at that point. Wow. I didn't start the trail in peak hiking shape. This is the first hike of the spring of whatever year it was I hiked this. So I was pretty beat. But just a beautiful spot. And lonely. Nobody on that stretch. Nobody on Turtle Ridge either. I know people hike that. I've seen blogs and all this stuff. Never seen anybody on the Turtle Ridge Trail unless they came out there with me. And that's what this is. This is Turtle Ridge right here, looking right down. If you can kind of see it, there's a sliver over on the left. That's the Joe Mary Road. That's Katahdin in the background. That big pond is called Levitt Pond. Tumble Down Dick Falls will be up and over the hill, and probably over another hill. But I've been out there in the wintertime. I've never seen anybody out there. But it's still beautiful. I do know people do get out there. A little bit further down the Joe Mary Road, but taking almost as much effort as it would to hike Wobbly all the way to the lean-tos and back. That'd be about a 14-mile day. This would probably a 14-mile overnight. That's about what this would be. This is Patti Wajo Ridge. That is, I believe, Lower Joe Mary Lake down there. And if you're looking for a place to camp, the place to camp is Antlers Campsite and it's just stunning. Although I gotta say, one of these days, I wouldn't mind secretly pitching a tent just to see sunrise from up there. Unlike that, I'll like camping out on mountains and seeing the sunrise, as you'll see later. And there's nice sandy beaches off and on along Lower Joe Mary Lake. Although there is a section where you're walking over a lot of boulders, granite, like smooth boulders, but it gets a little tiring on the feet. Somebody, I believe her name's Debbie, told me about they'd hiked the Trout Mountain Trail and asked me if I'd ever heard of it. And I'm like, really? So one day when I was late November, I was freezing myself to death on a deer stand. I'm like, I'll just go up on the Golden Road. Maybe I see something up there. And I think secretly I knew where I was going, and it was to Trout Mountain. I'm not going to say hike at that time of year necessarily to get away from the crowds. I mean, Millinocket and Midway are just, stone's throw away. So is I-95. These places do get traffic. I think of these two hikes, I think if originally I had a third hike mentioned here, that would be the Devastating Ice Caves. I don't think that's all that well unknown of a hike. That has a lot of traffic. I did that the first week of May a couple of years ago, and there was just a boatload of people out there. I think that's where the majority of the crowds are, assuming they bypass Baxter. And I did meet a guy on Trout Mountain Trail, but like I say, this is the end of November, and he didn't get to the summit. He was coming down the mountain as I was going up. The thing with Trout Mountain, you do kind of get some views. I would say fall would be a good time, or early spring, so you're not seeing a lot of. So you're seeing a little bit off through the trees. What I wouldn't recommend is going up that fire tower. That's 90 feet. I made it up 3 flights of stairs before I just got too scared and I backed off. But boy, Katahdin's like right like this. I mean, you can't ask for a better spot. Some locals complain about the height of the fire tower detracted from the view, but that's only if you're on that way. Anyways, the guy on the right, that's Rainbow Loop Trail, probably a 20-minute drive from Trout Mountain. Imagine like a lowercase b. The straight line starts at the Golden Road or the Golden Road Trailhead and goes up and over a ridge, goes down to Rainbow Lake. The B part of it curls up towards Horse Race Pond and then comes onto ridges like this where it eventually hooks back onto that. Beautiful hike. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't put too many ugly hikes out here, but I mean, beautiful's overused, but wow, I was just blown away. That was a finalist for the cover of the hiking book, my 6th edition. Maybe a future edition, that'll be it. It was just that awesome of a spot. One other thing of note is that straight part of the lowercase b, if you will, the blue trail, was originally used as the Appalachian Trail. And there's still a diamond marker that can be found on the trail. You look it up online, you can find it if you go searching. They used to ferry hikers from Rainbow camps over to the other side of the lake, and from there they journeyed towards Katahdin. Also, incidentally, there's another one of those diamond markers, and you can find it if you look hard enough. I didn't imagine it on Borstone Mountain, because Borstone, they tried to get it to be a side trail off the AT. There was a falling out, to say the least. There was a falling out. And this was so long ago when they opened up that section of the trail that back then hikers were called trampers. True story.
Wow.
Didn't call them hikers. Everybody wants to go to Katahdin. In Maine, there's 3 hikes: Cadillac, Canio, Katahdin. Those are the top 3 by far. But boy, if you want to get away from crowds, that's the one to go to. I did this the first week of August in 2008. The only things I saw too much of were blueberries. They were everywhere. It's hard, equally as hard as going. The elevation gain on Traveler is 86 feet less than the elevation gain from Chimney Pond to the summit of Cadet. That's it. It's the only thing that separates the two. They're equally, after that, they are equally as hard. Just getting to North Traveler, though, is fairly, as compared to the rest of the range, very easy. You're going uphill and stuff, but comparatively, given the part of the range on that side, there's actually a part of the trail called, or part of the ridgeline called Little Knife Edge. So if that tells you anything in the northern end of Baxter can be considered a less known trail. I'm not going to say the Eagle Lake locomotives are exactly unknown. When I got there, somebody was already leaving. And by the time I hiked the tramway, we almost made it to the locomotives. There was a whole troop of people going through. And even if they weren't hikers, people have been portaging from Chamberlain over the Eagle for eons before the locomotives were ever even there. My advice, you want to get to the locomotives and kind of maybe beat the crowds. There are campsites up in that region. Don't take the ones on the Allagash unless you're physically doing the Allagash River. My favorite, a little bit out of the way, would be Cocknagon, Maine, if you can get to that one. But there's a couple on Round Pond, which are about 15 minutes closer to the locomotives. And they did, by the way, make a new trail into the locomotives. Or rehabbed an existing, whatever they did. If you don't like crowds, and I don't, go to Allagash Mountain. Just a stone's throw away, relatively speaking, compared to how long it took you to get there. It's about, both of these are about 3 hours out of town. I worked at, just like I worked at Little Lightford for a better part of a year. I worked up at Loon Lodge, which is on Round Pond, which that thing looks right straight down on for a long time also. That's Allagash Mountain's fire tower. And you can see already, there's really no need to get up in the tower, even though they put a new cab up there. That was built last year. You really don't need to climb up there because you just stand on the summit and it's 360-degree views pretty much all around you. Literally the only people I ever met going up that thing were with me. They came up there with me. Just a beautiful trail. And sometimes I got to hike that. I probably hike that daily, every time I was out in the lodge. So let's talk about off trail. You really don't want to meet anybody, kind of get up some nerve and go where no man has gone before, sort of. And no one had ever bothered with this thing before until it came crumbling down Elephant Mountain a few years back. This is that boulder. The dog gives you a pretty quick comparison as to how much larger that rock is. Getting to that rock is fine. It's when you turn around and you look uphill, you see the rest of the cliff up there, and you want to walk up that, that's when it gets tough, really tough. Not for everybody, but fun. The only one thing that didn't make it fun for me, it was drizzling that day, so it was dicey footing, to say the least. This is a hike that was supposed to make my 6th edition of the hiking book, and then all of a sudden signs went up about access by permission only. And that really bummed me out. And I kind of could have left it in there with a warning that, hey, contact the landowner, but ultimately it was just putting the readers through too much headache. This is Mirror Pond. Good luck getting there. It's tough getting there. It's the forest that's tough. It's not, the terrain isn't bad. It's not, there's a lot of ups and downs. You're going like this The only thing I compare it to is Lily Bay Mountain. If you've ever decided to bushwhack up that thing, then you have an idea of how hard this is. But if you can get to that pond, it's awesome. If you can get to the top of Big Moose Mountain, you can't go up in the fire, there's no fire tower there anymore to see this pond. But if you go over to continue along the trail to a helicopter landing pad, you stand on that, you can look down, and Mirror Pond's right there. Yeah, so not a hike that everybody could do, and it's going to be hard to do. Bushwhacking down from the summit, I wouldn't recommend that, because I know what had to go through just to get to this part. And there are some others that are kind of easier. This is Baker Mountain. This is the south summit of Baker Mountain. There's no trail there yet that I know of. There is a trail that starts from number 4, goes all the way to Baker Mountain, North Peak. And there are some views in that stretch, but when you get to the summit, which is the highest point of Baker's whole mountain, all 3 peaks. Baker's kind of shaped like an L or an arm. The biggest peak's up here, the middle peak, and then the southern peak. And this is the southern peak, looking right down on Baker Pond. Elephant Mountains in the distance, Blue Ridge, Rum Mountain. How I always wanted to go up there. This is another one of those slides, and I'm probably better off not hiking, but I just can't say no. I looked on the map long enough to notice that the town line went right by where I presumed that was located. And I did find a town line swath, but it's just all gnarled in. So basically what I did is I was walked off in the woods about 10 feet away from it and followed it uphill that way. And eventually I had to make it just a wild guess almost as when to veer off and go find that scree field. And I was 5 feet from it at one point, and I didn't know it was there. That's how thick that is up there. And it was a very humid day, very buggy day. You can kind of see a bug center of the screen up there. But hopefully, try to stay positive, when they finish that ridgeline trail along Baker, they will incorporate this view. They forgot to do it. Although I imagine when it starts going down the backside, you're definitely going to get views just from the trail itself. So there's not too many slot canyons in Maine. It always looks fun when I see this stuff on YouTube, people hiking in slot canyons. I'm like, well, you know, we kind of have a canyon around here. And it seems really, really dangerous. But if you do it at low flow, wear boots or wear old crappy sneakers. This is not a place for flip-flops. You can get quite a ways up Gulf Hagus. I tried it. I did kind of done it a couple times. This particular trip, I thought I was going to get to Buttermilk Falls. Nothing doing. I don't think you can even get over that part right there. Even if that was at low flow, the one on the left, I think that's just going to be way too slippery. All I'd be doing is repeatedly falling back into the water, assuming that's not, you know, hopefully it's not too shallow. So maybe my thinking that I could get to Buttermilk Falls is a pipe dream. What I would not recommend is walking downstream, starting at the head of the Gulf. Leave that to the kayakers. Watch that stuff on YouTube. That's real crazy. But looking up at the cliffs, like all around you, I mean, that is stunning. I saw a waterfall that I didn't even know existed. The rafters or the kayakers would never know that was there in high water. So it's quite the afternoon. This is the day. Oh, by the way, this is the day after I hiked Moxie Mountain. So I did Moxie Mountain and Mosquito back to back, same day. Turn around and I did this thing. I was a little tired at the end of it. So we have wintertime, we have summertime, we might as well talk about nighttime. If you really want to get away from crowds, this is the time of day to do it. I'm on Indian Mountain at this point, taking a picture back towards Elephant as the sun set. That was pretty cool. I didn't camp out overnight. I camped down. I was on another hike altogether. But, it was really cool. It was really, really neat to see that. And just to relate really quick, one of my first night hikes was 2000, well, it wasn't my first one, but in 2010, I'm down by almost at the Smokies. I'm in the lean-to. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm sound asleep for once. I don't sleep very well in the lean-to. And all of a sudden I hear this, "Hey, Jim, there's the lean-to," at the top of their lungs at 2 in the morning. They had been like hiking for miles and waiting for a lean-to, and they finally found one. Well, good on you. How am I going to get back to sleep? And I couldn't. So I just gathered everything. I just started hiking at 2:30 in the morning. Wasn't anything I planned for. I was helped that I had cell reception, so I called my girlfriend back home. It was my girlfriend at the time, and I just had a conversation with her for a while. She kind of kept me company. She thought I was crazy, nuts. But there are rewards. That would be one of them. That would be my biggest one so far, my biggest reward of night hiking. I went up number 4, basically pitch black, right from the very start of the trail. I mean, I was there about 7:45, Labor Day week, Memorial Day weekend, but I ran out of light really quick. And I thought, well, maybe there's just a chance I get a half decent view from the summit, something cool. That was cooler than I could have hoped for. I took it with that real camera, not my cell phone, but just an awesome experience to get up there. And obviously I hiked down the trail, daylight out. So no, nothing too dangerous about that. The only time I've seen people up there, I was actually trimming back some brushes. Back in the day, number 5 was really overgrown. They let that thing, they let the forest take control. And I'm up there kind of sniffing. I probably cleared out about half mile maybe. And all of a sudden these people start coming down. There wasn't anybody at the trailhead. I have no idea how they got up there. I didn't know somebody was going to kick them down at the bottom. Maybe they spend the night up there too, who knows. And I get that night hiking is not for everybody, but there is a way, there is a super secret way where you can have your cake and eat it too. That means what it says. April 8th, 2024, 2 years out, is going to be a total solar eclipse over Jackman, Caribou, Holton, that says Dover, Foxcraft, and Greenville.
Wow.
And, I came up with a list in my head of places where you could go hike up in the daylight, and all of a sudden it's dark out for 3 minutes, and then you can go back down. First off, most importantly, before I get to a list like that, get the glasses and order them now. You know how hard stuff is to get these days. But secondly, I would leave Kenyo completely out of the question. There are open holes between the boat landing and Kenyo right now, let alone April. And you won't be able to drive out there. And the snowmobile trails at that point would probably be total bupkis. You are better off going to Avor Stone or to Little Moose or Burnt Jacket or any of those guys. Much better chance for safety. I mean, last year I was hiking. I hiked up there and let us talk about, like literally up the slide, talk about my fascination with slides. That was pretty tough. And Ottawa was completely out. The ice was completely out of Lake Ottawa. First week of April. That was crazy. It was crazy spring last year. But that's your way to have your cake and eat it too. You get to night hike a little bit and see something really cool. And then all of a sudden it's daylight again. So we're basically at the end. Some of the ones that got away that I really didn't mention is the Prong Pond Trail. You can see the blazes from the road now. They still don't have an official trailhead, but you can see the blazes. They're right off the side of the road where the trail starts. Pretty neat little thing down there. I do not know yet if the trail physically goes to the campsite that's on Prong Pond, the one with all the red pine all around. But that's, that would be a really fitting end to a pretty short hike. It's only like a mile, a little bit over a mile long.
So
Pretty
where is
neat
the
to me.
start of it? On what road?
Well, if you were going to the B-52, you'd be on
Oh,
that
okay,
road.
yeah.
So you go down basically where the ATV trailhead is, right across the street from it,
Okay.
so to speak, is where that begins. Where the ATV trail would be is the trailhead on they call that the Prong Pond. Yeah, yeah.
Off the Little Day Road.
This picture is one of my other faves. We didn't really get to mention. This is the start of the Mountain Link Trail. The mountains it's connecting is Little Moose and Big Moose. This actually intersects that slate stairwell at the start, basically, of Little Moose's loop trail. So right where you park, you start walking downhill immediately. This intersects that right at the bottom of the stairs, not this bridge, but the trail itself. The Headwards Trail, really didn't get to mention that. I hiked that twice last year, it was beautiful. I knew it was coming. I knew they were kind of sort of working on it. And a friend of mine went out, we went out to go find an abandoned lean-to. That was a little adventure. And when we're coming back, I look downstream and there's blue blazes right there. I'm like, wow. And so I wound up hiking that as a day hike, and then I wound up later on going through there for backpack on. Long story short, and another trail that I really don't mention much is the Blue Ridge Trail. So I started my hike at Rum Pond, did the entirety of the Blue Ridge Trail to basically where it petered out, bushwhacked up and over Indian Mountain. That's where I got the shot of Elephant Mountain from. Got down the Gulf Haggis, did the whole Barren Chairback Range, and at Vaughan Stream, that's where that trail comes in. That's the headwaters they're talking about, the headwaters of Vaughan Stream. And beautiful. And I guess that concludes the presentation.
Awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. And what a better way to end it off with
Yeah, I see that.
this wonderful you'll see that if you get out there in the Patti Wajo Ridge, you're going to pass right by that. It's right off the trail. Any questions? Any questions on the cyber web?
Chris? Chris?
Yeah. Yes. Are we on mute?
They can hear us, but.
I have no idea how to take it off of mute. Hang on, just start talking. You can see me. Go
Chris,
right ahead.
this is Bob Flavin. Is there a hike up the Blue Ridge near Rockwood?
No, there was when it was really quick and it had a nice view of Braswell Lake and Boundary Bald Mountain. You can see the ledges as you come in, from, I guess, Braswell or from the Jackman towards Rockwood. That sharp corner, then you go up the hill. There's those ledges right there is ones he's talking about. And I think I had it in the second edition of my hiking book. And then they went in there, they turned and made a great big gravel pit. And there might be some remains of that trail left. I don't know if they want you parking up there anymore, though. It was sad. It was a nice little trail. I did hike that a couple of times. It was nice. But the Blue Ridge in question that we're talking about, as far as the Headwaters Trail goes, is the one over by the Ironworks.
I just thought that Blue Ridge Trail from the Jackman direction towards Rockwood is worthy of a nice little trail.
Yeah, that would definitely be a very unknown trail if, in fact, it still is a trail anymore. I haven't hiked it in many, many years.
Thanks.
Yep.
Did you bring your books?
I don't have any books to sell. Necessarily, sorry, but there's a display of them right over
Okay.
here, and some of these guys are the Into the 100 book will be I guess a new edition. It's hard to do much different with it because it's the 100-mile wilderness and all. There's only so much. I can't make it much wider. I can't incorporate, number 4. But Wobbly Mountain is in there in a different form than what's in the 6th edition of the hiking book. Because it used to be some old footpath, and then all of a sudden they made a real footpath up there. Also, so the new version of, revamped version of Wobbly Mountains hike will be in there. Mention of the Rainbow Trail will be in there. The Grand Circle Trail, I can't put too much in there. I put a lot about the Great Circle Trail in the 6th edition. Into the 100, there'll probably be 2 or 3 pages in the tops.
When you gave the talk about the Great Circle Trail a couple years ago, you said there were places where it wasn't really quite finished.
Yeah, that's all been fleshed out that I know of.
Okay, so it's really it's a full trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the neat things they're doing, one is they're putting not just signs out there. There were no signs on it. The only signs I saw was on the AT. And that was just maybe a total of 2.5 miles between 2 separate places. Not only are they putting actual signs on the trail, they're putting mileages too. So it's going to kind of look like an AT sort of trail, visually looking like. They've never done that on any other trail in BPL lands, not that I know of.
Okay, and that's about 35 miles?
I think I've seen a couple people mark it at the 30-mile mark. I was running my GPS. There are places that didn't pick up, so I don't have an accurate reading. I'm going to say, though, it's to my best of my ability, over 30 miles. We're talking 33. Ballpark it at 33.
Okay, thank you.
Can
Yes.
you make me a list of the trails you just said, because I'm so not.
Maybe I can get you one on an email. There's all kinds of trails. And there's a lot of other trails that didn't make the cut, that I could talk about. Ones I'm looking forward to. A few years ago, I go to Little Kenio. Everybody knows what that is. Most everybody knows. Beautiful hike. Talk about your unknown hikes. That's
Asian
one's
people,
way out
Chris.
of the way. Huh? So anyways, yeah. Kenio's quite a ways out of the way. Little Kenio is. And I wanted to do something else while I was there. I thought I was going to night hike up the mountain. I just kind of went up the trail, saw a vista, turned right around, went back in the darkness. So it was technically a night hike. And I slept in the truck and I'm like, well, wow. Now what do I do when I wake up? And from up here on the hill, when you're looking up the lake,
Yeah.
you can't see Kenio from that view, not from that vantage point. But you can see the Spencers, well, at least Little Spencer, and you definitely can see this little rounded knob. And in the wintertime, this time of year, you can see splotches of white on it. And I thought that was probably some kind of ledge or whatnot.
Losing
And I'm
people,
like,
Chris.
I want to go check that out. And so I did. It's Shaw Mountain. And I was so fascinated from the views up there. It was like being in an airplane. Without being in an airplane, it's looking at Kenio. I'm like, you know what? I have got to tell Rex Turner about this. Well, it turns out he already knew. Rex Turner is the guy that is responsible for almost all the new trails that are up here. And he's like, we haven't started making it yet, but the management plan that they put together with Plum Creek at the time allows for the construction of a trail up there. And technically that's on AMC. I forget what it is. Another trail I'm looking forward to is off the Great Circle Trail. They intend to run a trail over Farrar Mountain. And it may ultimately connect to AMC's trails up by Metawisla. For one funny thing is that on Farrar Mountain, there's already a lean-to, not literally on the ridge line. Whatever reason, you'd have to ask Rex Turner, but they did put a lean-to up there deliberately, I guess, so people on ATVs could go in there and get out of the rain or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it though. That'd be pretty neat. Not too many other new trails that I know of yet. Anything else?
Just a reminder, this is being recorded so that you can go and, if you want to write these
Oh, I
trails down.
appreciate that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it'll be on YouTube.
And if anybody can, please make a note. You can do this digitally also, but sign up, get an email if you're interested in knowing more about the Moosehead Trails, signing up for one of their work trips and whatnot. And
Okay.
with that, guys, I think we're done. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yay.
Order now?
My email?
Yeah. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Good, how are you?
Outside.
I know outside a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you said
well,
no,
just-
just,
I don't know.
Okay.